Hello, my friends, and welcome back. It is still Sunday, September 20th, 2020. This is 2020. I'm the Drunk Poker. 'Tis beer time. So, in the last year or so, I've noticed there's been a change in my palate, I guess, but also my perception of beer. So, for the vast majority of my beer drinking life, I was a light lager guy, you know, or lager guy, I guess. I drank PBR and Old Mill and Bravo Light and the worst of it, Canadian, Lakeport, MGD. So these are the beers I drank. Now, you get into craft beer, I went whole hog in, right? IPAs, big stouts, everything, sours. And I've always talked about this circle of taste, and I've written about it, and I find you come around again to lagers, Pilsners. My beer of the year last year was Donna Pils from Fairweather, which I consider to be the epitome of the style in Canada. However, and I think I've talked about this beer before, I'm pretty sure I have. I wanted another go at Vim and Vigor from Tooth and Nail Brewing in Ottawa. So Mom and Dad wrote in Ottawa for Dad's work. I said, can pick me up. I put an order in. I ordered 6 because I know the quality is here. This is neck and neck with Donna. The fact that you come around. Now, listen, I love IPAs. Don't get me wrong. I drink a headstock a day. Keeps the doctor away, as they say. But there's something about a really well-crafted Pilsner. This is more of a German-style Pilsner. I don't know either. But what I get is you get this floral, kind of grassy, light biscuit malt note, clean and crisp. Now, the thing I always say is, it is a simple beer to enjoy. It is a complex beer to make well, because there's nowhere to hide. You're not hiding behind hops or sour, or, you're not throwing lactobacillus in there. You're not, big coffee stout. This is beer, plain and simple. And to do it well is incredibly difficult. And to do it well consistently is the hardest thing in the world. Say what you want about macro beers. And listen, we've all gone through this. And there's a lot of my friends who are still in this. Macro beer is garbage. Yeah. Macro beer might be boring. But these guys brew on such a massive scale. And they retain the consistency. Now, something you want to spend your money on? No, you don't want to give multinationals. You want to buy local, and that's great. But let's talk honest truths. It is incredibly hard to brew that beer consistently all the time. So, props where they're due. Props to this one, though. Cheers, my friend. So I ordered 6 of these. Why? Because I know Tooth and Nail makes this beer good. My friend Mike, Beer Mostly, on Twitter there and Instagrams, he swears by this. Him and I go back and forth on Donna on this. I'm going to tell you this right now. This and Donna they're the same beer, made a slightly differently. I find this one's got a little bit more oomph going on. There's a little bit of hop bite, a little bit peppery. It's very nicely carbonated. It's got a peppery back end. It's got that nice cereal grain going on. It is beer writ large. Beer that tastes like beer. And that's a good thing. Trust me. I always despair. I despair sometimes when I see people and they cut down lagers and pilsners because, well, I just don't like the style. And I'm like, well, okay, I can appreciate that. My favorite beer is a West Coast IPA. I love it to death. I just love trying different beers all the time. But to dismiss a style because it's boring, well, it doesn't have to be boring. This is not a boring beer. You can taste the complexity, the subtle complexity that makes it so beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's something about it. And I think that in the last year, I've really come to appreciate that about my beer. And honestly, I think it makes you a better beer drinker when you can understand that complexity. And it's fun, man. It's fun to find a beer that tastes like a beer, because sometimes that's what you want. So the Tooth and Nail, we're going to go 5 out of 5 on this one, my friends, because it's a friggin' beauty. Cheers. Liquid gold, Jerry. Liquid gold.